Hello guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back. So today's reading. What would Satan like you to know before you work with him or before he works with you? So if you're watching this reading, you probably feel called to work alongside him or just have an interest in what this video might say. So let's hop right into the reading. Starting with the tarot. It gives you the 9 of Swords. He gives you the 4 of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles, and the Hermit. We have 2 9s. So 99, 999, 9 is a significant number to you. Maybe you're born in September, but 9 might be a significant number to you, or it's just like the ending, the completion of a cycle. He could also be highlighting that with the number 9. Okay, so, and 9 is also like the highest number. So perhaps it's kind of like within the partnership that you guys have together, you will be taken to heights that you have not reached before. So I felt called to say that. But with the 9 of Swords, you guys have a lot of anxiety when it comes down to perhaps treading the left-hand path. Or perhaps there's just anxiety for maybe even facing his energy. Because maybe if you're watching this channel, you already feel called to this path. You already feel like it's meant for you. But you don't want to face the face of this path, the adversary energy, because there's still a lot of, I guess, beliefs and structure from the other, maybe the last religion or, I guess, belief system you had still makes you believe or fear Satan. Or, like I said, with the whole entire believing thing, maybe it makes you believe that, like, if you work alongside him, then something terrible will happen to you. So there's a lot of anxieties around that. But if you're watching this reading, then you obviously feel called to work alongside him. Even if it's out of a, even if it's out of curiosity, you still felt called to click on the video and listen to what I have to say. So therefore, this is something that you probably should do, especially if your intuition's leading you to do so. You're just clouded by you're clouded by what other people believe about Satanism. And that is why you are afraid to walk down this path. It also leaves you to be alone with the hermit energy. Not a lot of people choose this path because there's a lot of misunderstandings about it. And maybe you don't want to be alone. Maybe you want to be accepted by other people. But you have to let go of this anxiety energy because it stifles you as a magician. Because you will always, inevitably, within your craft, have to dip into the darkness. It is not something that's avoidable. I don't understand people who think that it's all about light work. Because I do honor the light, and I do think it's important within the practice, but we have 2 aspects of ourselves that is constantly highlighted in this world, light and darkness. And so it's not like you can just fully avoid the darkness or fear it or try to get rid of it. Because it's a balance. It's a part of who we are as beings on this earth. So you'll always be faced with that darkness, whether you like that or not. But if you're watching this channel, like I said, you probably already feel called to this energy. It's just about how other people perceive it. And maybe for you, you feel the need to protect yourself against this darkness with the 4 Pentacles. But you have to let go. And you have to be open to the journey that you will tread, the journey that you will experience with him if you decide to work alongside him. And like I was talking about with the whole entire balancing of energies, we have the Two of Pentacles. See, he's balancing both pentacles. You can obviously use the light, a part of your work, and honor it, but you must also honor the darkness within your magic, because both of those energies are needed for balance. I think it also highlights like maybe a dedication to your craft. If you want to work with him, you cannot be, I guess, removed from your craft. You have to have a balance between your personal life and your craft. And I feel like maybe some of you guys lean a little bit towards your personal life and the things going on in that, and you put your craft in the background. It's maybe not as prevalent in your life as it should be, but you need to have it as one of the bigger aspects in your life, because there's a lot of things that you're missing out on when you are ignoring it. And that's for some. I don't believe that message is for all, but I feel some of you guys need to start putting your craft, obviously it doesn't have to take over everything in your life because, we have to have some type of, balance, but it's just like you need to include the craft in your life, or at least have it as a bigger aspect in your life, because it is currently something that is in the background. And this journey requires, it requires a lot of deconstruction, and it requires a lot of inner work and studying, and you have to make time for your magic. You have to make time for yourself as a magician. Otherwise, it will not work. But overall, be open to the relationship and don't feel the need to have to, secure yourself or hide or be afraid. Don't think about what other people want you to think about the left-hand path. Think about what your heart is calling you to do. If your heart tells you to take this path or become a Satanist, then you should. Because your intuition is telling you exactly the life that you are meant to live. It is leading you down the path that you created for yourself before you came to this earth. So listen to your intuition, all right? And this journey, it's going to be a journey that is solitary at times. And I'm talking about with, humans. Other people might not understand it. You're not going to have a major support group. What I'm trying to say is that you're not going to find, a satanic temple in the middle of in the middle of your city, will you? But you'll definitely find maybe a church within your city. What I'm trying to say is that you're not going to have a lot of people that are like you, because your path is also very unique. Your path is the way that you want it to be. It's your craft. So there's going to be things about it that even some Satanists might not agree with, or might not practice, they might not practice the way that you practice. So there will be some solitude, but you can't run away from that. Because within this solitude, you're going to discover more about yourself that has yearned to be discovered. So that's what he says with the tarot. He gives you compassion, intention, kindred spirits, and beauty. Okay, so I guess I should start with the beauty card. I want to kind of start backwards. So with the beauty card, he also highlights maybe even your position where you're at right now. Maybe it's like there are certain events that have happened throughout your life to get you to where you are right now. Certain events that have pushed you onto this path of worshiping yourself and honoring yourself. And you have yet to see, like, just all of these, I guess, you've yet to see all these, like, sacred events. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, there's so many things that have been set up in your life that have led you to this path, and you don't even see what has been set up in your life. I feel like I could be more clear about that. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's been events that have been orchestrated that you don't notice, that have led you to this path, and you have still yet to notice them. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. I don't know why it took me like so many tries to say that, but like there's been so many like events and, you know, I guess situations and things that you've seen and synchronicities and all of these like things that have led you to this path. Your life has been constructed in a way that, you know, it was always going to lead to this point, that this was meant for you. So you don't have to doubt that, and you don't have to feel like an imposter on your path. Also, with Satanism, it's really however you want it to be. Like, at least that's how I view Satanism. Satanism is however you want it to be. It is your craft. It's about yourself. It's about how you practice. So when you're taking this journey, always remember that, because you might feel the need to mimic other people and see how they choose to practice, but it is all very intuitive. So there's just so much that has been orchestrated in your life to get you to the point that you're at right now. And so you don't ever have to think that like, this is not right for me, because it's in your blood. It was always meant to happen. With the kindred spirits, it's like, perhaps you have been a Satanist in other lifetimes. So it was always going to come back to you, no matter what. You've been a Satanist in other lifetimes and have worked alongside with Satan himself. Why the fuck am I stuttering? You've worked alongside Satan himself within your other lifetimes of practicing magic. So therefore, it's something that was always meant to happen. It's something that's just like tied into your soul. So with the kindred spirits card, it's like, you don't have to fear this relationship, because this is a relationship that's happened for many lifetimes. You've practiced on the left-hand path for many lifetimes. So this is something that's natural to you. And all the things that happen, all the things that have woven together to get you to this point, it happened for a reason. It happened because this is what was meant to happen. This is what was written in this lifetime for you, okay? With the intention card, I feel like your magic could be at its best potential if you open the doors to the left-hand path, open the doors to this adversary energy, to this shadow energy. Maybe it's also like you are wavering. You're not quite clear about like the path that you are taking. You've never really been quite clear about your spirituality, because you've always felt that there was something missing, and perhaps this is the missing piece. So I feel like that's kind of what the intention energy is highlighting. That you will find what you're truly seeking, what you're truly searching for within this path. And you won't feel like as confused as you have felt practicing in other like religions or spiritual practices that you have, I guess, experienced in the path. Maybe some of you guys you've transformed a lot spiritually, some of you guys. And the shoe has never fit until now. And with compassion, you have to be very understanding towards yourself, because this is something new, but also with like, spiritual awakenings. There's a lot that happens. There's a lot of, deconstruction, kind of like tower energy. There's a lot of tower energy within awakenings, because things are falling apart, and the structure that you had once set for yourself, that you've become comfortable with, is currently leveling out, and so therefore can be very tricky and scary to deal with. But you need to be patient with yourself, and you also need to be patient with your abilities as a magician, but also utilizing your emotions and listening to your heart within this journey is encouraged. Whatever your heart is telling you to do is what you should do. I feel like a lot of these religions go against the heart. It's whatever, God or the Most High wants you to do. And you need to think about yourself first, and not really anybody else. Even when you're working alongside Satan, you don't have to think about necessarily what he wants. It's about what you want. So you're going to finally kind of come into your, like, the practice that was meant to be for you. The practice that the practice that you've been practicing for many lifetimes. And with kindred spirits, it really does highlight that relationship, that connection that you guys have had in past lives. Okay? All right, so he gives us the Garden of Hallowed Moonlight. Wishes. Was she once a Selkie? Once upon another lifetime. Or once upon another time, another lifetime. Well, I mean, that's kind of what that card highlights, but the milk of the mother flows. I'm sorry for this stuttering, guys. I really wish I could get together with speech therapy. Let me move the tripod up. Okay. So, the Garden of Hallowed Moonlight highlights taking the path not taken. I've already said this, especially with the Hermit energy. Like, this is a path that, your peers are not going to be comfortable with, and that is fine, but it's your path. So don't expect that, like, everyone's going to necessarily agree with the spiritual path you're taking, because it's unique. Also, with this path, there is like an emphasis on chaos magic, because it's really about how you want to practice, and it doesn't have a defined set of rules, really. So therefore, there's a lot of people that don't agree with that. There's a lot of people that think it's childish, but who really cares? If you feel called to do it, then, like I said, it's probably meant to be. You have to trust your intuition. And with wishes, it's like, this is probably the most powerful way to manifest when you're on the left-hand path, because you're not giving it over to God. Like, it's not on God's timing or the Most High's timing. It's on your timing. So he also like emphasizes that he could perhaps help you bring forth the desires that you are yearning for with the wishes card. So within your partnership, that is something that you can request for help with the things that you are currently wanting or needing. With the Was She Wants a Selkie card, it does highlight that independence. I mean, both of these cards really do highlight independence. But this one talks about like taking the path untaken, and this one talks about expressing yourself the way that you desire to express yourself, because perhaps you've had to really cover yourself up, or you've had to hide the true you, and you do not have to do that when you work alongside him. You don't have to hide who you truly are. With the left-hand path, it's about being the most authentic version of you without worrying about judgment, or without worrying about sinning, or, you know, doing something bad because, you know, expressing myself, it's terrible. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. It is not bad to express yourself, or, you know, even present yourself in the way that you desire to actually present yourself, because some of you guys don't. You present yourself as someone who's easy to digest, but that's not what you're meant to be. You're meant to be very colorful, or you're meant to stand out. That's what's powerful about you, but you hide because you've been taught to. So you don't have to do that in this partnership. It is not that you owe him, you know, your life, or you owe him, you know, your soul. You don't have to be a copy of him. You can be however it is that you choose to be. And so you guys have worked alongside each other in lifetimes with kindred spirits, and once upon another time, you've had his guidance. So he comes to you again because it is obviously a connection that is meant to be. And, oops, I didn't mean to flip it over. And with the milk of the mother flows. You're going to learn a lot about your craft and how to utilize it. I guess you're going to learn how to utilize it, and you're going to learn how to, what am I trying to fucking say? You're going to learn, you're going to learn how to manifest the best way that you possibly can. I also feel like perhaps this is just a great time. Like I said, I think I said this at the beginning of the beginning of the oh my god, at the beginning of the reading with the Two of Pentacles. I said that, you know, you're going to need to go back to your altar. So this is a great time to really like clean up your altar and get it prepared for this new era. Maybe your altar also needs to match who you are as a person. Like some of you guys, your altar doesn't feel like home. And for me, like, I make art. I put it all over my altar, or print out pictures of myself when it's at its like base state. Honestly, right now it looks like nothing's really happening. There's just like candles everywhere. But like, you know, for me, like I tried to like make art for it. You know, I try to personalize it to make it feel like my home, because it is my home. It's my spiritual home. You know, I've made like streamers for it and things of that nature. To make it pretty and make it feel like it is my space. So for some of you guys, your altar doesn't feel like it's anything, or maybe some of you guys need to start one if you haven't already. So right now would be a good time to do that. So I feel like that's all I have to say. That's all he has to say. And I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope I gave the message the best I could, because my stutter is incredible. It's annoying as hell. It's annoying as hell. And I don't really know how to get over it. So tips. You know, I've tried to be quiet and think about what I'm trying to say before I say it. I know that's a trick, but I've tried it before. And it makes me like feel awkward. You know what I mean? It makes me feel awkward because then I'm like silent and I'm like coming up with like sentences in my head. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just can't do that. So hopefully I can fix that. And yes, I'm very thankful for everyone who chooses to support me and enjoy my channel regardless, and enjoy my readings regardless. And yeah, that's it. So take care and goodbye.